Hello everyone and welcome live to 3Y TV tonight's broadcast of the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series here from the beautiful USA International Speedway in Lakeland, Florida for the second round of the BeerStreetJournal.com Star Spangled Bash. I'm Peter Short, and joining me alongside here for 150 laps is Andre Graham Bush. And Andre, fun to be on the short track. Do you think we'll see any cautions here tonight?
Yeah, we've been talking a little bit about that before the race here, and my prediction is going to be 3 cautions, my oddly specific prediction, but, these guys have been so good at keeping it clean and green. I just think that USA is a pretty big challenge. It's a very unique track. It's not quite flat, but there's also not a whole lot of banking. It's kind of somewhere in between, and of course the short track distance means you're going to be in traffic a lot tonight, so I don't know. I'm going to predict a couple yellows, but these guys have surprised me before.
Yeah, they have surprised us multiple times here on 3 Wide TV, as we got about a minute 30 left here in practice session. It is the number 29 machine of Adam Newton, top of the board, as we're looking right now at the second fastest driver. That is Dominic Tesoro, followed closely by Julian Tesoro in the number 30 Toyota Tundra. There he is. You see the number 14 Jeff Price getting loose in the background, spinning it around here on the backstretch. He's the 5th fastest truck. Splitting Julian Tesoro and Jeff Price is the number 971 of Nathan Maurer, not out there on the racetrack. There's Jason Gracias, who is on a hot streak right now. Andre, a winner of the last 2 events, both of those races being caution-free.
Yeah, definitely coming hot on the heels of a win here and looking to carry that momentum. But I tell you what, I think the drivers I'm going to be watching are the Tesoro brothers. They've been so fast all year long, and it seems like they've had some really bad luck as of late. But sometimes luck turns around, and I'm going to be watching them. But that number 1, you can't count him out. He's been fast, like you said, these last couple of weeks. And he is one heck of a short track driver as well, so we'll see what he can do as we go on board with Sobel in the 75. Let's take a look at what it takes to get around USA as we have our last 20 seconds of practice. You can see, Peter, they're entering right up against the wall, and really they're driving in a lot deeper than you would expect. That little bit of banking there allows these guys to really sail it in, only getting on the brake just before that caution light, and then hugging that yellow line. That's really going to be all night long. I don't think there's going to be much of a top line tonight, so if you're going to want to pass somebody, you might have to move them.
Yeah, that is very true. You see the checkered flag now flying as we're about to move over into qualifying. Josh Sobel, I think probably just spinning it around there on purpose, as he will pull off his number 75 machine. Great to see Joshua Sobel back in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series here tonight for the BeerStreetJournal.com Star Spangled Bash. If you have not checked out BeerStreetJournal.com so far, well, you're missing out on all of the latest craft beer news from across the United States. And I'd check out BeerStreetJournal.com. You can check them out on Facebook and Twitter, amongst other means of social media as well. So make sure you go check out our friends over at BeerStreetJournal.com. But, of course, it is the Beer Street Journal Star Spangled Bash, and that means that we'll have another poll here tonight for the best-looking patriotic scheme in the field here tonight. We only have a couple, so you'll have an opportunity here to decide about the halfway mark on which driver you expect, which driver you want to win the extra cash on the line here tonight. And speaking of extra cash on the line, BeerStreetJournal.com has put extra cash on the line. If you have a patriotic scheme, that's all you need to qualify. But I think on the line here tonight, it's about $50 for drivers with patriotic schemes. So hopefully we see a couple of those as we're looking right now at the fastest driver so far here in qualifying. Julian Tesoro comes out of turn number 4 on lap number 1. Ran a 21.53. On lap number 2 goes about 0.03 of a second faster, but gets pipped to the pole by the hot driver in the field, Jason Gracias, who ran a 21.42. Now Blaine Sparling jumping to the top of the board. He's also got a patriotic scheme here tonight in the number 59. He will come to a halt. Good job by Blaine Sparling to currently put it on the provisional outside pole. But as I say that, Andre, of course, he has to prove the commentator wrong as Jeff Price goes to the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, Jeff Price has had a lot of speed these last couple weeks, and he can just string together a run. He could easily walk away with a win tonight. We know he's got that pace, and you mentioned it is the second race of the Star Spangled Bash, and I'll tell you what, Peter, I don't think there is a better race to run such an event. The only way to make a short track more exciting is to maybe flash a wad of cash in front of these guys and tell them to go for it. It's going to be some real hard racing tonight, and I think the Star Spangled Bash is going to promote that as a few more drivers finish up their runs.
Yeah, and number 99 machine of Philip Scott going to top of the board with his qualifying lap time at 21.333, 700ths of a second faster than Jeff Price. Jason Gracias there in third, Blaine Sparling and Julian Tesoro currently our top five, but as, of course, I say that, Andre, they just have to prove me wrong again because the 971 and 8 Maurer just put himself on the outside pole in his Simbox 971 machine. So congratulations to Nathan Maurer for getting onto the provisional front row, but no one has anything right now for Philip Scott. What can Josh Sobel do about that in the number 75 machine? He jumps himself up into the top five here tonight. The Harpoon design number 75 Chevy Silverado pulls it down to the inside of the racetrack on the backstretch. Let's go check out a driver who did really, really, really well and has done really well over the last couple of weeks, Andre. That is Vincent Valvano, the number 64 Ford F-150. Going through turns number 3 and 4 right now, trying to put in his qualifying lap time. But I've been impressed with how Vincent Valvano is finding speed in that truck.
Yeah, he has really been getting better and better all season long, and I think there was a few moments last week there, Peter, where you and I both thought, man, he could probably win this thing, but tonight, if he can just carry that momentum, it's a short track, man. You got to be aggressive, and if you feel confident enough, that's a big part of racing here is that confidence. So he's got plenty of reason to be confident with the speed that he's had, and we'll see what he can do, but that qualifying effort is going to be a 21.790, so not the quickest time, but I think Valvano drove through quite a few cars last week after qualifying a little bit further back, so yeah, kind of his forte.
Fastest driver in practice, Adam Newton, comes to the line at 21.362. That will put him on the inside of row number 2, 29 thousandths of a second off for the driver of the number 29 machine, calling his own number in thousandths there behind the number 99 of Philip Scott. And as the racetrack falls quiet here, Andre, it sure enough looks like Philip Scott will leave the qualifying session as our pole sitter. So congratulations to Philip Scott. Has, believe it or not, a patriotic scheme here tonight. That is good news if you're in the Philip Scott camp, because that is extra money in his pocket. That's right. Courtesy of our friends over at BeerStreetJournal.com, that is going to be $5 added to the race winnings tonight. $5 real dollars added to the race winnings for the number 99 of Philip Scott here tonight. So pretty cool to have that. Let's see if we can bring up tonight's starting lineup, however, here, Andre, so we can go through the starting grid for the Beer Street Journal Star Spangled Bash. Starting on the pole, like I said, Philip Scott, Nathan Maurer alongside him. Congratulations to those two drivers starting on the front row here tonight. Adam Newton, Jeff Price will be making up row number 2. Jason Gracias, Josh Sobel on row number 3. Good job for Sobel there with his return to the series. A good run inside the top 6. Blaine Sparling, who I thought for a while might be starting up there on the front row, he starts 7th. Julian Tesoro, maybe a little bit further back than what we expected to see after his pace in practice in 8th. Tristan Maurer in the number 17 will be rolling off in 9th. Did not have a lot of practice time in the number 17 Eclipse Photography machine, so we'll be seeing what he can do as he figures the race track out during the race conditions. And Stan Hausman, another patriotic scheme here tonight, made the finale last week of our poll that, again, we'll be asking here tonight to who has the best patriotic scheme in the field. See if Stan Hausman can claim that money here tonight, Andre.
And just beyond Stan Hausman with his patriotic scheme, outside of the top 10, we've got Matt Cherry in the number 5 and Doug Neal making up the next row. Behind them, Vinny Valvano, Garrett Austin, and Uncle Jimbo, P15, Scott Tompkins, 16th, although I'm not sure if that's race control or if he's actually in the race. Tom Lester, Dominic Tesoro, Doug Milliner, David Buell, and Garrett Gleason are going to round out your field.
So So those drivers will round out our field here tonight as we're waiting for the iRacing pace car to finally get them rolling here on this short track. We'll see them rolling here very, very shortly. Is that Ford Mustang pace car will lead them around for 2 pace laps here tonight. Let's go check out the chat, see how folks in the chat are doing here tonight. We got Johnny Williams saying good luck all and hello to the booth. Johnny told us before the race that his wife was not doing too great. He's taking care of her here tonight, Johnny. Hope she's doing well. RC Plains 59 saying Philip on the pole. Stay tuned Sports saying I vote Jimbo is the best paint scheme. Check it out in the first few laps. I'm sure the paint will be coming off throughout the race. Good to see Jimbo out there in the field here tonight. I was a bit concerned. He had some hardware issues with his steering wheel midweek that I thought might be the end of Jimbo in the field, but he's in the field here tonight. Right early angle rooting on our pole sitter here tonight, Philip Scott. And of course, Adam Dama coming from Korea saying he may have overslept. Adam, by the fact that you're not in the field here tonight, I would tend to agree that you did oversleep. But Johnny Williams, he's putting in his vote for the number 39 machine. We'll put up a poll a little bit later in the show, so make sure you stick around for that. But Andre, pace car lights are off. We're getting set to rack them up for 150 laps tonight.
Yes, we are. I'm sure these drivers are pretty excited to get underway here. I don't think there's a stock car driver on the planet that doesn't like some good old short track racing, and especially at a track this unique, it's gonna be a blast. Pace car is gonna make a pretty easy turn into pit road here, easier than the drivers are gonna have it later in the race, that's for sure. And now Philip Scott is gonna pass the restart zone, and it's up to him, waiting for that green flag. There she goes, flagman, waving that green flag, and we are off and away. Look at that even start on that front row there, Peter. The outside getting a really good start, staying door-to-door with the 99. Behind them, they're going to single file out, but we have a battle for the lead early on here. A run by Nathan Maurer is going to give him the advantage into turn 3, but coming out of turn 4, the 99 is going to get a run in the middle, but can he carry it out? Yes, he can, staying side by side.
Yeah, and I think Nate Maurer actually led that lap. A really strong start for that 971 Chevy Silverado. As in the back of the field, we're hearing someone may have already gone around. We're hearing that Otsumi Garrett Austin may have had some trouble in the number 34 machine. You see him getting passed there by the other Garrett in the field. Not a lot of cautions in here early. No caution for this. Let's see if we can see what happened here. This is when Garrett Austin was racing in the pack side by side with Vincent Valvano. We think it happened right here in turn number 1 and 2. And that back end, oh, ouch. That is some heavy collision with the outside wall.
Oh, man, that was a big hit. And it looked like he just got on the brakes a little bit too hard and shifted the weight to the front of the truck, so that rear end wanted to swing out on him. And unfortunately, a bit of an overcorrect just sailed him into that outside wall. And some of the viewers at home, if you are astute, you might have noticed we don't have safer barriers here. These are pretty much just concrete. So a hit like that is going to do some damage to that truck.
Yeah, right now the number 99 of Philip Scott is leading the way. He finally was able to clear the 971 of Nathan Maurer as we have clicked off 4 laps already, pretty much single file throughout the field. We've seen a lot of green flag racing. In fact, I think I did the math, about a 270 or so consecutive green flag laps here in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series. As we, I mean, the chances of going completely caution-free in the beer church during the Star Spangled Bash, I would think are very, 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 very slim. But who knows, as we got one car around there on the front stretch. I think that's Jimbo Casterline in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast truck. He's down there in the grass. He's going to just take a toe back pit lane. Probably a smart move there. And oh, now caution flag comes out for the first time in 277 laps or so. We're hearing Doug Neal has gone around here. Andre, let's see what happened here. Rare sight here in the Beer Street Journal Star Spangled Bash.
Yeah, I kind of wondered if the flagman even remembered to bring the yellow flag. It's been so long, but we do indeed have one. Keep your eye on that 77. Just a bit of a nudge. And I mean, that was the lightest of love taps, but at this track, it doesn't take a whole lot to get you going around. But luckily, he was able to get that thing stopped before he hit that inside wall, and everybody else was able to scramble. So no harm, no foul, just a little bit of track position lost.
Yeah, that number 77 Simbox Chevy Silverado doesn't look like it has a scratch on it. So that's the good news for Doug. Bad news is he'll be back at the back of the field for this upcoming restart. Pace car lights continue to twinkle here on 3 Wide TV. We haven't had the opportunity to do this in quite some time because of the fact that we've been green flagged for a good majority of these races. But let's see if we can pull the number 99 machine and Philip Scott up here into the 3 Wide TV booth. Philip, you got a copy? Philip Scott, Peter Short, 3 Wide TV booth. You got a copy? Well, I'm going to take that as a big nope. Philip Scott does not have a copy, so we'll send him back to his Total Nonstop Racing group. I'm not sure what that was about, but hey, maybe it'll work later in the race. Maybe I just alerted him that he has a microphone problem. I don't know, but the iRacing pace car lights here continue to twinkle atop that machine, and so let's see if we can pick up another one of these drivers here. Andre, let's see if we can pick up our second place driver. You know, I'm not having any luck here because I don't even see the 971 and Nate Maurer here in the Discord. I'm looking for him. I just hey, there he is. Found him. Let's have a quick word with him. Nate Maurer, Peter Short, 3 Wide TV booth. Got a copy?
Oh yeah, I got you. You scared me.
Well, that's my job. Hey, good start there to the race. A lot of side-by-side action. How's the truck driving?
Good. I'm just kind of taking it easy. I wanted to lead a lap, get that extra point or 2 or 5, whatever it is. I raced here last night with Philip. I felt like he kind of burned his stuff up pretty quick, so I just made my teammate behind and said, let's just ride behind him, and it looked like we were starting to reel him in there. So hopefully we get a decent long green flag run here.
Yeah, first caution flag that we've had, I think, in about 270. I think it's 270 miles here in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series. You think we're going to see a lot of cautions tonight?
We're going to be making up for them 270 laps of green that we had. Yeah, we're going to see quite a few here tonight, I think.
All right. Well, Nate, good luck here. You're probably going to come to the restart here and get the one to go. Best of luck here tonight.
Thanks, guys. Have fun up there.
All right. Well, we'll let him get back to his Simbox Motorsports teammates. But interesting to hear that already, not Jimbo. I was looking at Jimbo's name there, Andre. Sometimes that happens. But, you know, it's interesting to hear that he's already thinking about the tires and managing those tires and thought, you know what, let's let the leader go burn up his stuff and then we'll reel him in back later.
Oh, yeah. I think the drivers are going to be struggling with a tight condition all night, and when the truck is tight, you're really tempted to crank on that steering wheel to try to squeeze out a little bit more rotation, but oftentimes you don't get more rotation. You just scuff up the tires and make it worse in the long run. So being a little bit far-sighted, I like it, looking ahead, but green flag is out, and Philip Scott this time gets a much better start than the initial start, and he is out to a fairly commanding lead. But look at that, Peter. Sometimes starting on the bottom is a bit of a detriment because he had to weave his way up the track and then immediately back down to get the proper corner entry angle, and that did cost him a little bit of time as they're side by side for third, and Nate just kind of sticking true to his word there, riding in second, not being too aggressive with getting up on the leader, just kind of waiting it out, taking care of the tires, and letting everybody else do the battling.
Absolutely, side by side between the number 29 and the number 1 for now. Want to jump over to the chat real fast. Adam Dama with a donation to 3 Wide TV. Adam, we appreciate that. A donation of $2 saying, damn, there goes the caution-free racing. Yes, caution-free racing is out the window here tonight, folks. We have had a caution. Who is now joining us, the first caution in, I don't know if it's 270 miles or 270 laps. Either way, those are big numbers here in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series. Right over the angle in the chat, Dalton Hayes rooting on the 971 of Nate Maurer. They're currently riding in second, but mostly single file through the field. First side-by-side action a little bit further back. I think that was Matt Cherry I saw get to the inside of the number 6 of Doug Miller. Now a little bit side-by-side up in front of them is the number 69, one of our patriotic schemes in the field here tonight. Dominic Tesoro racing with one of those other patriotic schemes. That is the number 39 of Stan Hausman just back behind. So I'm taking note here, Andre, of the patriotic schemes that we have. I think we got Blaine Sparling, Dominic Tesoro, Stan Houseman. I know up at the front of the Philip Scott also has a patriotic scheme. So if you see one of those patriotic schemes that you really like, well, you can put your vote in a little bit. We'll be putting up a poll here on 3-Wide TV. So we appreciate all the people who will be sticking around to vote in that poll to hopefully give one driver in the field $10. It doesn't sound like a lot, but hey, when you're out there having fun, you're making $10. I'll tell you what, I'll take that any night of the week. As these drivers right now up at the front, Philip Scott leads, Nate Maurer in second, and the 29 machine, who started in third, running third right now. In fact, the first driver to gain a position here, Andre, is Jason Gracias, and Julian Tesoro behind him has already picked up 3 since the drop of the green.
Yeah, Tesoro's been carving his way through the field, but then he kind of stalled out once he got behind Gracias, and I think we're going to see a little bit of patience out of these guys for the coming laps. There's really no point in burning up your tires this early, kind of going back to what Maurer was saying. It's really easy to abuse the truck here, so if these guys can just kind of get single file and stay within striking distance of the truck in front, I think that's what they're going to do early on. Now, when we get closer to the pit sequence, when we get closer to running out of fuel, that's when the intensity is going to be dialed up, because these guys want to have as big of an advantage as they can have when they're coming down pit road. So that'll be fun as we have a big moment out of the number 6 coming onto the straightaway. Got a little bit sideways, maybe tapped the outside wall. That could have been pretty big. He was right in the middle of a gaggle of cars there, but everybody was able to keep it going.
Yeah, that was Doug Miller with that big moment. Good job keeping it pointed in the right direction. We saw quite a few drivers struggle with that in practice a little bit earlier in the night before we came on air. It seems like turn number 4, very easy to light up the rear tire. Same thing off of turn number 2. We saw a couple of drivers struggle with that. But of course, when you're in practice, Andre, you're trying to hot lap, you're trying to find all that extra speed for qualifying. And once you get into the race, you kind of tone it down usually a little bit. You manage your throttle a little bit more. At least you try to minimize that wheel spin. Of course, you want to be easy on the throttle as well, so you can keep the rear tires from over-wearing too soon. So, we don't usually see as much spinning in the race as we do practice, and that's a good thing, because usually we see a lot of spinning in practice. Here's a driver, the number 69 machine of Dominic Tesoro, as he goes to the low side of the number 59 of Blaine Sparling. These two drivers, two teammates battling it out. The number 69, however, Dominic Tesoro, plus 11 positions since the start of this race. Biggest mover of the race so far. Oh, number 5, Matt Cherry's around. Back of the screen. Green flag stays in the air. He's down in the grass down there. That will not bring out a caution flag. He's reversing up the racetrack. That might bring out the caution flag. And indeed it does. Number 2 here tonight.
Well, maybe he spun out. Maybe he was just trying to get to victory lane a little early there. The victory lane is down in the infield. Let's take a look at exactly what happened. Down on that yellow line. Truck looks all right, and then it just kind of starts to snap. It almost looked like it bottomed out there for a minute, Peter.
Yeah, it did look like it bottomed out there for a brief moment, and that was just enough to unsettle it when you were, trying to put the power down and you light up the rear tires like that. It can be hard to kind of stay on top of it. We were green flag until he didn't reverse onto the track significantly, but Jimbo was coming along, and there was that truck there. I think if Jimbo had not been there, I think we probably would have been okay, but because of the proximity of another car, or truck rather, the caution flag does wave. Mixed strategy, however, out there on the racetrack right now. Philip Scott, Adam Newton, Jason Gracias, Josh Schobel, and Stan Houseman, top 5 electing to stay out. Meanwhile, pretty much the majority of the rest of the field coming on to pit lane to make their first pit stop of the night. So a little bit of track position loss here for drivers like the 971 of Nate Maurer, Andre, but they're going to be on fresh tires here as they all get rolling.
And I'll tell you what, that's going to be a huge advantage. Even though we're only 27 laps in, fresh tires here are pretty valuable, because at this track you want the truck to rotate as much as possible, and it feels like every single lap you run, that rotation just leaves a little bit more. So these fresh tires are going to be a big help. They just got to make sure that they can use that advantage while they have it before those tires start to wear out again. And if I'm one of those leaders up front on the older tires, I'm sweating a little bit, because it's going to be real hard to defend against these guys.
Definitely going to be interesting. That is for certain. One driver, though, who is a very happy camper is this driver right here, who picks up the first Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award since Talladega several weeks ago. That was, I think, 4 weeks ago now. So it's been a while since we brought out that Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award logo, and it goes to Jimbo Casterline here. As he works his way back up onto the racetrack, you see quite a bit of damage to the number 18 from that earlier spin that did not bring out the caution flag, but Jimbo picks up that Lucky Dog Award. Congratulations, Jimbo. And great to flash the graphic up on the screen because we haven't in such a long time. Let's see if the green flag comes out here, or as you mean the pace car lights go off this time by. If they stay on, we'll get a quick word with one of the drivers who elected to stay out, likely the number 29 machine of Adam Newton. Just depends on how long the caution flags are here. So while we're waiting on the pace car to twinkle around the racetrack, let's go check out the chat as well. Garrett Gleason saying, did Johnny get eaten by the eagle on his porch? I don't believe so, Johnny. Johnny's in the chat. He was in the chat 2 minutes ago. We'll see whether or not he's in the chat still. Maybe he did get eaten by an eagle. Pace car lights do indeed turn off, so we'll let these drivers get back to it. But we do want to give a shout out to some of our newest members of the 3Y TV Pit Crew. There is a join button. If you hit that join button for $1 a month, you become a member of the 3Y TV Pit Crew. You get some custom emotes that you can bring up, including the green flag, because we are about to go back green flag here in just a moment for the third time here tonight. We'll see the flag man unfurl the green. But I want to give a shout out to Alicia Casterline and Tyler Talent for being our newest members of the 3Y TV Pit Crew. So thank you very much to them both. And thank you to the pit. There's not the pit crew driver. That would be the pace car driver because he's off the racetrack and we're back green, Andre.
Yes, we are. The 99 gets down on the apron. He got squirrely. That actually caused a big checkup. Gracias cut him a big break there, slowing down for him. And that's a good example of something we are going to see come into play, I'm sure, numerous times tonight. But you do not want to clip that apron. Right now, that 99 looks like he is struggling with handling. Whereas Gracias, he's dealing with these cold tires and old tires a little bit better. He's really just rocketing around the bottom. And we do have another yellow flag. That's not looking good for my prediction there of 3 yellows, because that would mean we'd have to be green for the rest of the race. Is 77 having another issue. Seems to be the same story we've seen all night. Let's take a look at the 3-wide TV replay. Coming out of turn 4, just above Valvano in that 59. 2 wide down into 3 and 4, and maybe just a bit of a love tap. No, honestly, I don't even think it was the contact that got him loose. That was just lighting up the tires, and unfortunately a heavy impact to that inside wall is going to park him in victory lane, but not getting there the way he would have wanted to.
Yeah, hopefully the number 77 can get back out there on the racetrack and at least come down, get some damage repaired. But hey, guess what? We get to give another Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award to Jimbo Casterline. Congratulations, Jimbo. Second time here tonight. In fact, the rate we're going, Jimbo's going to get quite a few of the Brookstone Animal Hospital Awards. Unfortunately, he's sitting about, I think, 19 laps down. So we need 19 Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Awards. I just don't see that happening. You said 3, Andre. I don't think we're going to get 22. I hope we don't get 22. But who knows? But Jimbo gets that Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award. Brookstone Animal Hospital located in the greater Atlanta, Georgia area. One of our key sponsors here in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series, along with BeerStreetJournal.com, sponsor of the BeerStreetJournal.com, Star Spangled Bash. And how about our other series sponsors? We have lots of links to those series sponsors in the description of the video. So if you have not checked out the description of the video, well, you can go down there. You can find out about MaxGrafix.co at their webpage. Custom iRacing paint schemes, some of the best in the business. Taz Racing Customs, Facebook.com/Taz Racing Customs. We got a lot of really good-looking race trucks in the field here tonight, Andre. And Taz Racing Customs do allow for custom die-cast. So you can get one of these iRacing paint schemes and put it on a die-cast machine. Very, very cool, and one of our longtime sponsors here in the NSRA. Simbox, facebook.com/SimboxPC, sponsor of the Biggest Mover Award here in the NSRA Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series. If you need a button box for your sim rig, well, good old friends over at Simbox PC can hook you up. That again, facebook.com/SimboxPC. JNR Craftworks, a relatively new sponsor here to the National Sim Racing Association, but one of the coolest sponsors that we have, in my opinion. As you see, Jimbo Casterline still on pit road. He'll lose another lap to Philip Scott. So just giving that lap right back, unfortunately. But JNRCraftworks.com, custom crafts and custom metalworking. That really, really cool stuff. You can get it customized, and if you want a gift for someone, well, JNR Craftworks will give you something that is a really stellar product, really, really cool looking. So go check them out as well. And of course, Eclipse Photography that takes pictures here of these races for all these drivers to enjoy. Another one of our partners here in the NSRA. As space car lights are about to turn off, we're about to go back to green flag racing here again, Andre. Johnny Williams saying that the Eagle is at the Jackson Zoo for rehabilitation, and Kalev Gadlauskas, I hope I say that right, I probably didn't, saying, let's go Garrett Austin, shake and peck. Let's go check out Garrett Austin. And a little bit further back, of course, has the Gold Octopus machine. In fact, he's on pit road right now, the number 34, getting some damage repaired. Currently peeling out of his pit box. Come back out in the racetrack. Needs to hustle around the racetrack, though, here, Andre, because the pace car is on pit lane. We're back to green flag action here.
Gracias got a really good jump there. He was able to stay to the outside to the entry of turn 1. Now it looks like he might try to cross him over, dipping down low. He's got a good run, but it's not quite going to be enough. They're going to go side by side behind him for position, as Adam Newton is going to fight with Nathan Maurer for this third position. And behind them, you got Joshua Sobel trying to hold the bottom against the number 69, Dominic Tesoro. Again, these Tesoro boys have been really good at passing cars tonight, so it's going to be tough to keep them at bay. And it looks like he actually will make this move on the 75. And Nate Maurer falling back, running order just a little bit. Now he's going to be down to that yellow line, fighting with that 69. And ahead of him, that's going to be a single file as the 34 goes one lap down. With some damage on that truck. Garrett Austin not quite on pace.
Yeah, Garrett Austin doing a good job, though, of staying out of the way for a lot of these drivers to work their way around them. Definitely something appears to be amiss in the number 34. Caleb in the chat saying, I've known him for 28 years. He's always having car trouble. I think the always having car trouble is very apparent right now, if I do say so myself, as a lot of these drivers getting around the slower truck. You might just be letting him by. And you know what, Andre? He knows that he's in the Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award position. Even if he kind of forms up at the back of this train, if another caution comes out, he'll be able to get that lap straight back. So he can now not have to deal with any of these other trucks around him and get his head down and try and pick up the pace some. Up at the front of the field, it is still Philip Scott ahead of the number 1, Jason Gracias, the number 29 of Adam Newton in third. But remember, on lap number 26, the driver in fourth, the 971 of Nathan Maurer, came down pit road, got 4 fresh tires, and so far, Andre, it doesn't seem like a significant advantage, although Maurer has picked up at least 1 spot from that caution a little while ago where he came down pit road. He restarted 6th, and now he's running in 4th.
Yeah, he is really struggling to get around Adam Newton here. Adam has gotten loose a couple times, including right there on the straightaway. In fact, most of these drivers in front of him have gotten squirrely a time or two, and he's just kind of playing it patient. Obviously, if somebody's a little bit out of control, you're not sure what they're going to do. You're not going to be too anxious about getting alongside him. Sometimes it's better just to wait and see what happens as the 29 gets big loose. Now contact from Maurer. They're going to go 3 wide for a moment, but that opens up the door to the 69 down low on that yellow line. You got to think Nathan's getting a little frustrated behind the wheel. 29 getting sideways lap after lap, and there was just nowhere for Nathan to go. But that's the story of these short tracks, man. You can't blame the driver. You can't blame the 29. It's all about track position. It's all about using those tires properly. And unfortunately, just kind of got the short end of the stick there. But now contact from Tesoro to the 29. And the 29 is going to go around. That's a big bottleneck as Nathan powers around the outside.
Well, we were watching a replay of their contact a couple of laps ago, and I thought you were calling the replay, but you were not calling the replay. You were calling what was happening live, because you did a really good job of commentating that replay. But this is what was happening live, and there's that bottleneck that you speak of. Just a little bit of contact between the 69 and the 29, and that's enough to bring out the caution. Unfortunately for Adam Newton, going to lose quite a bit of track position there.
And he definitely picked up some damage again. In sim, these concrete walls really are less forgiving than the safer barriers or the tire barriers. So right there's the nudge, just kind of cut across Tesoro's nose a little bit. And unfortunately, impact there is going to bring him to a halt. Had to reverse back out onto the track. And I think that was a matter of time. And that was kind of my fear when some of these guys up front didn't take tires. Peter, as we go on board a little bit further back in the field, this is what they were seeing. And some quick reflexes to go up high. I believe that's the Vinny Valvano machine, the 59. Trying to navigate around with a few other cars. But yeah, when you have older tires and you're trying to fend off the guys behind you, not only do you have worse tires, but you're pushing that truck so hard because you know that the guy behind you is going to be quicker. And sometimes you just push it a little bit too far, and that 29 was definitely out of control for a few laps. But the Brookstone Lucky Dog is going to go to the number, I believe that is the 34 machine. We saw him go a lap down just a moment ago. Austin was kind of off the pace, had some damage, but he'd get one of those laps back and maybe get some more damage fixed up under this yellow and try and get back in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. But we did have another split decision on pit road. Some drivers electing to come down, other drivers did not. This driver right here, the number 30, Julian Tesoro, first driver off pit lane, going to be restarting in the 7th position here in just a little bit, right behind Doug Neal in the number 77. Garrett Gleason has also fallen off the lead lap in the Comans Care Chevy Silverado. Not sure what exactly he's doing. Maybe he went on a safari down into the grass or something. Not exactly sure. He's got that very interesting zebra on the side there. Maybe he's caring for that very interesting zebra. I don't know. It's a very interesting paint scheme. I haven't seen many paint schemes that are similar to that one, where it's a landscape on a truck. That's an interesting one, Garrett, but love it nonetheless, as he's going to pull to the inside here, let most of the field on by, as pace car lights continue to twinkle here. Let's see if we can go get a word with the driver that just came down onto pit road, Julian Tesoro, and the number 30 machine. We'll drag him up here into the booth. Julian Tesoro, Peter Short, 3YTV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, some mixed strategies out there on the racetrack right now to come down pit road or not to come down pit road. How's that number 30 truck feeling?
Honestly, I'm not feeling too confident right now. Just I feel like my pace has gone down since the start, but I'm gonna still keep working just to try to. I think I damaged my front splitter on the last run. I came in to fix it, but we'll see. Front end feels a little weird, but we're gonna keep pushing, keep going.
Well, hopefully you can get it turned around, get that damage fixed on the number 30 here tonight. Julian, pace car lights are off. Good luck here as we're about to go back green. All right, we'll let him get back to his Tesoro Motorsports team as he heads down the backstretch here. And Andre, that number 30 truck does have a little bit of damage on it. He is right. Hopefully that doesn't affect him a whole lot.
Well, luckily here at a short track, you can get away with a little bit of damage, so hopefully it doesn't hold him up too much. The green flag is out, and it looks like Philip Scott's going to get a good start here. And Tristan Maurer is actually going to get a nose underneath the 971. This may be an opportunity to move up to second place. Contact! The 971 getting a little bit squirrely, and as they both check up, there was nowhere for Blaine Sparling to go. He got into the rear bumper of the 17, a huge accordion effect, but somehow these guys kept it going, and nobody wrecked in that situation. That was heads-up driving by everybody involved. And now, side by side, a little bit further back, this kind of was initiated by that checkup. Valvano in the 64 is now battling with Doug Neal for position, trying to get around him there, and it looks like he may grab that position. He does. Doug Neal going the wrong way here. Peter, 3 wide for just a moment. Oh, man, Julian Tesoro saw a gap. He tried to get in that gap, but it closed real quick. There is some chaos going on further back in this field.
Yeah, man, you called it perfect there. When they all stacked up, Julian Tesoro had absolutely nowhere to go, and I think his frustration might be coming out there just a little bit with that lunge to the inside of the number 39. Took it 3 wide for just a moment, but like I said, things now maybe calming down a little bit as he's now going to look to the outside of the number 39 BeerStreetJournal.com machine, and whoa, Tesoro gets wicked loose. Down here comes Jason Gracias looking to the inside of the number 30 Toyota Tundra. A couple of Toyotas battling it out midfield here. This is the battle right now for 9th. It's like Gracias is going to open the door for Josh Sobel, who's picking up a top 10 position with these passes that he's making right here. Good job, Josh. But meanwhile, up at the front of the field is Sir Philip Scott, who has yet to pit here tonight. In fact, surprisingly, Andre, every other driver in this entire field has pitted except for our race leader, the number 99 of Scott. The 971, he pitted on lap number 26. Tristan Maurer pitted on lap number 26. Farland, Neal, Malvano all came down on lap number 26. Then we have the group of drivers who came down pit road around lap number 47 or so. We're hearing that Matt Cherry's on pit road. Not sure what happened to the number 5 machine, but Matt Cherry had some damage earlier. Let's see if we can pick up this one on the 3-wide TV replay.
Keep your eye on that number 5 down on that yellow line. And again, I think we're seeing a near replay of what we... Oh, no. Wow, that was really strange, Peter. It seemed like the car didn't really snap loose until he was already onto the straightaway. And then, unfortunately, that classic iRacing sticky wall reached out and grabbed him. And once that happens, there is no coming back. Take another look at it a little bit closer this time. Looked like he was all right coming out of the corner. A little bit of bottoming out on the apron there, but overall, the car did not look that unsettled. Right there, you see that slide initiate, and I thought that he had it caught, but no, it just kept on going. He's got the counter steer in it and everything, and it's just sliding down the track. And man, the one thing that I hate most about iRacing, right there, that just took a wreck that really shouldn't have been a huge deal in the grand scheme of things, and just became a total disaster for that number 5.
Yeah, unfortunately for the number 5, Matt Cherry, he is off the racetrack. He's going to have to take that tow, which will put him multiple laps down. Garrett Gleason, currently in the Brookstone Animal Hospital lucky dog position, he is sitting 2 laps down in the number 7 machine. As Julian Tesoro, a big slide out the back of the number 30 machine. We heard that he thought that he might have lost some of the pace that truck had earlier in the night, maybe damaged that front splitter. He might be spot on there, Andre, as he's now slid outside of the top 10. The number 69 of Dominic Tesoro making that pass to move him back up into the top 10 as there's contact with Doug Milliner, the Folgers machine. The best part of waking up is not being involved in an accident, but Milliner gets a pass made as, whoa, Vincent Valvano with a big slide on the bottom side of the screen.
I tell you what, turn 4 is the most dangerous part of this track. When it comes to USA, especially in, I would say anywhere from ARCA to Xfinity, it's kind of the same methodology when it comes to driving this track. The truck in the car is going to get real tight, so you want to try to drive it with the throttle. Sometimes you can get a little bit more rotation and kind of get it to turn by using your throttle. But you do that too much and you're going to get loose. So really, you can get on the throttle at any point coming out of turn 4. It's just a matter of how much car control you have and what the car is willing to take. And so these guys, you know, they're pushing the limits. They're getting on just a little bit sooner than the truck wants them to, and it's kicking them loose. And again, this track just invites you to do that. So it's going to be a challenge all night long. Luckily, Valvano was able to save that truck and not fall victim to that inside wall like we've seen a few other drivers do. This side-by-side battle here, 39, I think, kind of suffering due to the damage. You can see that front end is caved in quite a bit. And another battle right here, Jason Gracias, 77 going at it here, side-by-side down to the straightaway. And you never really know who's got the advantage going into the corner here, because on one hand, you do want to enter up high, so you think the 77 has the advantage, but at the same time, you can't really run the entire corner up there. You start to lose grip, so a little bit of an advantage, but also maybe a little bit costly. Is 39 now going to try to sneak his way by, and he is going to get that position despite the damage. I am surprised in the pace on that truck there, Peter. I mean, you look at the front end, it looks like somebody took a sledgehammer to it. He's out here making passes.
Yeah, he is making passes. Oh, Josh Sobel with a bucking Bronco. there in the number 75. Let's go back and get a replay of that one here on 3 Wide TV, because I thought he was all types of wrecked there. Let's see, on board, coming out of turn number 2. Wiggle, 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 wall. I think that wall might have saved that number 75 machine. Unfortunately, that's more right front damage for that truck. That is definitely not going to be exactly the best for Josh Sobel, as he falls back to the 6th position, right where he was here tonight at the drop of the green flag, just about 68 laps ago. So Sobel in that Harpoon Design 75. You can't miss that truck. Very bright out there on the racetrack. Going to have to regroup after that big wiggle. But one thing I am noticing, Andre, is we talked about the drivers who have pitted, drivers who haven't pitted. Well, Philip Scott's the only one who hasn't pitted, and I think we're now starting to see his tires start to go off, at least relative to drivers like the number 1, Jason Gracias, who's on fresher tires, because as Philip Scott nears the halfway mark, still under green, still hasn't pitted. Here comes Jason Gracias with a move to the inside of Tristan Maurer. Winner of the last 2 races is Jason. He's going to move up into the top 3 plus 2 from where he started here tonight, but he's definitely closing in on the front 2. He's got fresher tires, pitted on lap number 47, Andre. Things looking good right now for the 1.
Oh, yeah, he is flying right now. I think it's a matter of when, not if, he's going to catch up to these leaders. But, I mean, you got to give props to the 99. Philip Scott has done a phenomenal job holding on to the lead with those older tires in a way that I don't think anybody else could. Everybody else who stayed out in that initial caution there on lap 26, eventually they folded. They came down pit road. They got their car serviced, but Philip Scott stuck to his guns. He stuck to that strategy, and if you would have told me that he was going to be able to hold on to the lead for this long on those old tires, I would have called you crazy. So it's been a phenomenal drive for Philip Scott, and I'll tell you what, when he does get fresh tires, he's going to be right back to being one of, if not the fastest truck on the track.
Absolutely. But you see that gap right there? Last time, Philip Scott, 0.4 of a second slower than Jason Gracias. Green numbers is good for Gracias. Another 0.4 or so. That number 1 Bagcraft Toyota Tundra is absolutely hunting down the front 2 in an absolute hurry. Meanwhile, back behind them, Josh Sobel battling it out, looking to the inside through turns 3 and 4 with Blaine Sparling. That was close, as we will see the crossed flags, the halfway mark this time. We'll be throwing up the poll for your favorite paint scheme, your favorite patriotic scheme here in the Beer Street Journal-Star Spangled Bash here in about a lap or 2, Andre. Who do you think has the best chance of winning here tonight? That.
Well, I'll tell you what, I got to vote for the same truck I voted for last time. I gave Philip Scott my vote last week, and I think I'm going to give it to him again this week. It's a really good-looking truck. I like the looks of that 99, and I like the looks of the pace that 99 has, too.
Yeah, for sure. That number 99 is looking good. I would tend to agree. One thing that's interesting, though, is tonight we have 4 drivers in the running. We got the number 39, the number 99, the number 59, and the number 69. All of those drivers have a number that ends with a 9, which is interesting for sure. As up at the front of the field, Nate Maurer was able to take the race lead from Philip Scott, but not for long. Here comes Jason Gracias to the front, where he has been for a majority of the last 2 events, to the front for the first time tonight.
And now it is time for Gracias to try to set sail until this first presumed green flag sequence, if we stay green long enough. He's got the fresh tires, he's got the clean track, there's not a lot of lappers in front of him, so really this is his game right now. He is in control as we... Whoa! Jimbo missing pit road, it looks like there. I'm not sure what the situation was with that, but the leaders were able to steer clear of all that chaos. And in the time we looked away, Peter, I mean, look at that. He's already built up a 4-car length gap.
Yeah, he's pulling away. He's checking out. That's going to be really good for him, especially as these laps continue to click away under green flag conditions. I'm just curious to know how long can the number 99, the Philip Scott, go before he has to make a pit stop. I don't know, but Philip Scott right now still running on the same set of tires he started the race with, still running with the same tank of fuel he started the race with, doing good to make it 80-plus laps. Got to see the cross flag, so we know that, whoa, was that the number 17 of Tristan Maurer?
Oh, no.
It was the Tristan Maurer going around. So I think, I think that the number 99 of Philip Scott's going to come down and get tires and fuel here in just a moment, because caution flag waves again.
I tell you what, that was timed perfectly for the 99, actually, because he really couldn't have gone much further. Let's take a look at the 3-wide TV replay, follow along with his number 17. Coming into 1 and 2, nobody really around him. He's just kind of turning his laps, and right about there, you're going to see the car start to kick out just a little bit. And man, oh man, there's just nothing you can do to save these cars, Peter. I mean, when they get sideways like that, we've only seen 1 or 2 saves, and everybody else just kind of slides down the track. And I got to wonder if it's something with the setup with this truck or just the way this track is, but it seems real difficult to recover once that thing starts going. Taking another look at it, again, just kind of in his own little world, but once that truck decided it was going to go, right there, a little bit of Takumi Fujiwara going around the corner. And there's the inside wall. Very unfortunate, but again, we've seen it so many times tonight.
Yeah, that we have. Meanwhile, all of your leaders are on pit road right now with the number 99 of Philip Scott. Not going to win the race off pit road. In fact, give that to Nate Maurer by just a fraction of an inch over Jason Gracias. And Gracias had to slow down right there at the line. I wonder if Gracias might have a speeding penalty. We'll wait and see if that is the case or not. But action on the racetrack, action on pit lane here under caution.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't have a penalty there. That would be disastrous for what was definitely one of the fastest trucks in the race. And getting just a little bit beyond the halfway point, time to recover for mistakes is getting less and less. So we'll see exactly what happens. But nonetheless, looks like Nate Maurer will inherit the race lead. And you got to wonder what he's going to do with this race lead, Peter. When we interviewed him, he said that he didn't really care about leading a lot of laps. He just wanted to get the bonus points for leading a lap. And then the rest of the race, until it was really go time, he just wanted to ride and take care of his equipment. But it's kind of hard to do that when you're in the lead. I mean, you kind of set the pace, but you can only ride so much before the guy behind you starts applying the pressure. So, I mean, what do you do in this situation?
You know, it's tough. You kind of just have to play it by ear, you know, see what, you kind of have to feel out that pressure. What do you have left in your truck? Do you think that your truck's driving well? If you think your truck's driving well, then, you know, you might be able to stick it out and really fight for position. But sometimes, you know, if your truck's falling off, maybe it's better to just save your tires and try and come back and fight a little bit later. You know, but the good news is we're going to have to re-wreck the field, and we're going to have a good fight here in just a minute, Andre, with the whole field pretty much formed back together. Garrett Austin was our lucky dog under this particular caution. In fact, he even has a lucky dog in his picture here on 3-Wide TV. There's a nice picture of a pooch. But I believe Jimbo and Garrett Gleason are both going to take the wave around under this caution. You see the pace car lights have turned off, so they will get a lap each back. But they won't have the opportunity, of course, to come down pit lane. Garrett Gleason now puts himself in the Brookstone Animal Hospital lucky dog position and work to get a lap back under the next caution flag. So, and that if he gets that caution flag quickly, he'll be back on the little laps. That'll be good news for G Money. I want to thank everyone for tuning in here on 3Y TV here tonight for the Beer Street Journal Star Spangled Bash, the second round of the Star Spangled Bash. There's a lot of money on the line for these drivers. You can go vote in the poll. It is up. And speaking of it is up, the green flag is up in the air. And the 971 of Nate Maurer has the lead. He is up there. And Andre, like he said, what does he have? What can he do to fight? Can he fight from the front? He didn't want to lead a whole lot of laps, but he's leading right now.
Yeah, I think at this point you just have to go. You got to turn laps. You got to make sure that you're putting up a good fight. We're at a point now, I think we're later into the race, that maybe riding is not going to be the preferred method. Maybe you want to get on that lap pedal. We'll have to wait and see. But the yellow flag immediately flies. So that'll put us into, I believe, caution number 6. So take a look at the 3-Wide TV replay. This is looking back from the bed of the number 75 truck. That is the 39 behind him. Coming through 1 and 2, just a little squirrely. That 59 in front of him, and man, oh man, just a light tap, and it sent that 75 around.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get another look maybe on board with Josh Sobel. Here he is running right behind the number 59 of Blaine Sparling, going off into number 1 here. That back end just gets out from underneath him right there, and just really nothing that he could do. Shame for Josh Sobel, going to lose all that track position. Maybe he's going to be able to come back onto pit lane, but this is a great opportunity for the driver that we were just talking about. Garrett Gleason will pick up that Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award under this particular caution. So with just about 60 laps to go here tonight, that number 7 Chevy Silverado will be able to fight things out. Of course, he can come down pit lane now, put on 4 fresh Goodyear tires, virtual Goodyear tires, and can see what he can do with that truck. Maybe fight and pick up a couple of positions. I know Garrett is one of those drivers who definitely likes to spend the first half of the race feeling out the track and seeing what he can and can't do with his machine, and maybe he's been able to find what he can do. There's Adam Newton also coming off pit road. Adam Newton, surprising. A lot of left side damage. Not exactly sure where that left side damage came from, but he was fast in practice, fastest of all in practice rather, and of course started up there inside the top 3. So interesting to see what the number 29 can do as he fights from the back to the front.
Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle, though. There's a lot of damage on that 29, and as we saw from the number 30 of Tesoro, sometimes that damage can just be a bit of a parachute and hold you back, so we'll see what he can do with that machine. And as for Garrett Austin finally getting back on the lead lap, these cautions have played wonderfully in his favor, and I'm excited to see how many cars he can maybe work his way through as we kind of take another look at that number 30. And again, not even a whole lot of visible damage on Tesoro's truck, just enough to slow him down, and it's been a struggle. He was one of the fastest trucks on the track at the beginning of the race. We saw how many cars he was passing. He was the biggest mover at one point, and then got a little bit of damage, and it's not been the same ever since. So it's been interesting. iRacing and the way that it handles damage, I've said it before, I'll say it again, sometimes you can take a pretty good hit and the vehicle just keeps on trucking, and other times you take a hit in the wrong place and you're wondering where your horsepower went. So we'll see. But up front, it's going to be another fun battle. We got Jason Gracias and Philip Scott going to be on the front row again. Or no, Nathan Maurer and Jason Gracias. Philip Scott's going to be P3. So the 3 leaders that we've seen all night long going to be going at it once again on pretty equal footing with relatively fresh tires, and not a whole lot of racing left, Peter. We're closing in on lap 100 already.
Yeah, closing in on just 50 more laps to go. Let's look very briefly at those paint schemes that are currently in the poll for the best paint scheme. $10 on the line for these, potentially for one of these 4 drivers here tonight. There's a number 69 machine right there. Dominic Tesoro's got that red, white, and blue there. He's got that kind of silvery scheme. Got that red, white, and blue star on the side. Then, of course, you got Stan Houseman right in front of him. More red, white, and blue. Got the stars and stripes. The number 59 of Blaine Sparling alongside him. And, of course, right beside him is the number 99, Philip Scott, who has that retro U.S. Army Air Corps training scheme from World War II. As we are back, green flag here. Up at the front of the field is Nathan Maurer, able to get that good start. We saw a great start out of him at the drop of the green flag. Good start here as he's going to pull away about a truck length on Jason Gracias as the first side-by-side battle is between a couple of those drivers fighting for the best patriotic scheme. The number 69 and the number 59, a couple of teammates there. And here comes the number 30 of Julian Tesoro, another teammate to Blaine Sparling. He's going to whip around the outside. The Tesoro teammates really making some moves here.
Yeah, I think Julian heard the broadcast there, had to prove me wrong. I said that the 30 just didn't have the pace in it anymore, but man, they must have got some of that damage beat out of that machine because he made some pretty strong overtakes there to get inside the top 5, and now he's only got a little ways to go before he gets up to Dominic for P4, and Dominic himself is racing with the leaders here. He's pretty much right on pace with them. And it's interesting to watch all these leaders go through the corner because they're all running a slightly different line, and by slightly I do mean just a little bit, half a lane here, half a lane there. But that means they're all faster in different part of the corners, so they're kind of having to give and take here. The car in front of them will check up, and so they got to kind of get out of that throttle and provide some room there. But I think as we get closer to the end of this race here, Peter, that patience and that provisional they're giving each other, that's going to go away real fast.
Yeah, I would tend to agree here as you're right on board with Nathan Maurer, your race leader. Right behind him, Jason Gracias in the Bagcraft Toyota Tundra as they get on the brakes there. That is turn number 3. Gracias gets a little bit loose out of turn number 4, loses about a truck length. That gives Maurer just a little bit of breathing room. Let's see if we can go through the field, though. Starting at the front, Nathan Maurer started this race in second on the outside pole. Used a little bit of good pit stop work there, and then that last pit stop to get himself into the lead of the race. As we look back, Jason Gracias, winner of the last 2 races this season. One last week at Dover, the week before at Texas Motor Speedway, or 2 weeks before, rather, just before the July 4th holiday. Gracias trying to look for 3 in a row here at USA Speedway tonight. 3rd place, Philip Scott started this race on the pole, as I think he did last week at Dover, so showing some good muscle in qualifying trim. Just here tonight, finding the mid-race pace after staying out for near on 80 laps on his original set of tires. What can he do to track down the front 2 to get himself back to the race lead? Behind him, Dominic Tesoro pitted on lap number 82 and is as close to the front of the field as I think he has been all night long. Dominic knocking on the back tailgate of the number 99. Been involved in a couple of scuffles here tonight, has Dominic Tesoro. I think he's been involved in at least 2 little skirmishes, one of which was with the number 29 of Adam Newton. That's probably where Newton got that damage that I couldn't figure out where he got it from earlier. But Dominic Tesoro right now strongly inside the top 4, is running down, in fact. But a long way back to the 5th place driver, that's Julian Tesoro. We talked about his damage, or at least you did there, Andre. Had a lot of pace, but we talked to him under a caution flag a while ago, and he doesn't quite think he has the pace in that truck anymore. We'll see whether or not they're able to keep working on that truck before the drop of the checkered flag here, Andre.
And looking a little bit further back from 5th, back in 6th place, currently rides the number 39. Oh wait, no, sorry, the 59, Blaine Sparling. He has had a pretty good run all night long, and I think Blaine's not really shown his hand. I think he's been one of those drivers just kind of patiently riding around, never really pushing that truck to its limit, because early on there's really not much need. But there's been flashes of brilliance out of Blaine, and I would look for him to gain a few more positions. Behind him in P7, Stan Hausman in that Beer Street Journal number 39. Looks like he's struggling with the handling here, Peter. He's getting a little bit sideways out of these corners. I don't think those tires are treating him too well, and he's going to drop a couple of positions as our previously 8th place driver, Doug Neal, is going to try to get around him on the outside. That's another driver who has been struggling with the handling and maybe struggling with some contact earlier. And the driver that was sitting 9th is also going to work his way around him. That's Tristan Maurer in the 17. Looked to be a contender for the lead. Now he's scraping the outside wall and just adding to the damage that truck has, kind of accumulating it over time. That's not going to help. And finally, in 10th place, Adam Newton, involved in that incident earlier, getting some inside wall contact and having to spend a lot of time under caution getting that damage fixed up. He is back on the lead lap, but put away back there in 10th, and that is the through the field.
Yeah, we'll just go a little bit deeper in the field as we're pretty much single file right now. Jeff Price, Back Channel Productions, number 14, was very fast earlier in the show. Started in 4th, now running in 11th. Vincent Valvano picked up 1 spot since his 13th place start. He's running in 12th. We saw what happened to Joshua Sobel a little while ago. He's not really recovered back to where he was, currently riding in the 13th spot. We've just seen how difficult it is to pass on this racetrack here tonight. Doug Miller behind them. And you see Doug right there. And that's not what Doug Miller looks like, but that's what Doug looks like for those who get the reference of the old cartoon, as Milliner currently rides in the 14th position, just in front of David Buell in the Simbox number 52. Make sure to go check out facebook.com/SimboxPC. But Buell keeping all four corners of the Simbox Chevy Silverado nice and clean here tonight. That's good news for that. Good. Garrett Gleason got a couple of those Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Awards. And Garrett, if you haven't succeeded at finishing inside the top 15, you've at least succeeded on getting Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Awards to answer your question there, whether you'll ever succeed at anything. Tom Lester in the number 48 machine, staying tuned to the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast. Currently in the 48 machine, riding down in 17th on the lead lap, and then Garrett Austin, currently the 18th place truck and the last truck on the lead lap, currently sitting about 15 seconds behind the race lead. And then Jimbo Casterline still plugging away in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast number 18 truck, trying to lock those laps, learn the racetracks, as he's a rookie to the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast, the truck series, and he is the last running truck on the racetrack right now. Let's go check out a couple of the battles. Let's see what's happening up at the front of the field. Your front four still right where they are when we last left them. Julian Tesoro, though, still leading a good gaggle of drivers. We're seeing Blaine Sparling and Doug Neal have a little bit of a tussle, battling things out a little bit while we were going through the field. Now, keep our eyes on them as we're closing in on 35 laps to go this next time by.
Oh man, we got a moment from the leaders here. Jim Casterline working his way out of pit road. Checked up the leaders a little bit. Looks like the 971 is going to get sideways. Gracias jump into that outside line. He took advantage of that real quick, but can he complete the overtake up there? We've seen a lot of trucks move to the top, but very few have been able to complete the pass. And Gracias is going to be one of the few, because he is going to take the lead right there comfortably. 1 car length gap going into turn 1. What a move out of Gracias, and what a chaotic lap for our leaders.
Yeah, and remember, Gracias trying to go for 3 in a row here in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series. He has not started all of the races this season, but it is mighty impressive for the driver who has only made a handful of starts. In fact, I'm just looking at my numbers right now that Gracias has only made 7 starts this season, still sits 13th in points. So Gracias, with 4 wins to his name, he's won more than half of the races he started, and he could make that 5 here tonight. The only other driver in the field who's won more than 2 is Tristan Maurer. Martin Plute, who's not in the field here tonight. Hopefully all is well with Martin. Haven't seen him as consistently over the last couple of weeks here in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series with those 2 wins. Of course, one of those coming at the Simbox 300 to start off the season. But right now, it's Jason Gracias' show once again. Nate Maurer there sitting in second. Third is Philip Scott. But we still have plenty of laps to go. It's Dominic Tesoro, a little bit of a 4-wheel drift there coming out of turn number 4.
Ooh, a little bit of a bobble out of our leader. The number 1 actually clipped the apron and got a little bit sideways. Didn't lose a whole lot of time for it, though. And that's kind of maybe not too surprising for me. Gracias has had a crazy amount of car control. Even when he clips the apron, even when that truck bottoms out, he's able to keep that thing on the right track. So it's been a really good run, but you still got to be careful. You know, you can only abuse that apron so many times before it reaches out to bite you. And I'm starting to think, Peter, now that I'm watching him run, I think he's using that apron quite intentionally. He's hitting it every single time almost throughout the corner, and it's actually helping him to rotate. But that's a pretty risky line. We saw the number 17 and even the number 5 earlier just clip that apron and bottom out. It pulled him right around. So, I mean, sometimes you got to take risks to be fast, but it is quite fun to watch regardless.
It's a good feel, though, when you are starting to leg it out on the next truck behind. You see Gracias running just a little bit higher up there on the racetrack, maybe carrying a little bit more speed into the corner, letting it drift up, dragging that brake to try and get it to whoa up. You see him diamonding the corner. That's what we call that, when you kind of hit the initial apex, you hit that yellow line, then you slide up, and then you cut it back down, just like if you were to have the sharp point of a diamond, if you will. Gracias has definitely legged it out now, up almost to a second, but is he kind of going too fast too early. You know, you see those Triple Crown races, you know, when you got those horses that run out early and they get a big lead, and all of a sudden they use up all their stuff and start sliding back. Well, we got 26 laps to go. Is it too early for Jason Gracias? We will find out here on 3 Wide TV as the lap count winds down. We have a dead heat, Andre, in the pole right now between the number 99 of Philip Scott and the number 69 of Julian Tesoro. Both of those drivers sitting on what I believe to be 8 votes each, I believe. So if you're in the chat and you have not voted for the patriotic scheme of the race, Philip Scott right here in the number 99, Spirit of Tuskegee on the side of the U.S. Army Air Corps machine. Great looking ride. There he is. If you want to vote for that number 99, feel free. As he's plugging away here in the 3rd position. He's tied on votes with the truck that's right behind him, though. Dominic Tesoro has that star on the side, definitely making use of the spec mapping that you can do, and good-looking race truck as well. Some really talented painters here in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series, Andre.
Yeah, some drivers, they really take pride in their paint schemes, and they put a lot of work into them, and I think that's a lot of the fun of iRacing. You know, there's so many simulators out there that you're kind of stuck running whatever liveries the game provides or whatever liveries are licensed, and you know, sometimes licensing gets in the way, but iRacing really gives these guys a lot of creative control, and it helps us to do events like this, the Beer Street Journal Star Spangled Bash, where we kind of can put on some special patriotic schemes, and it's always a blast and a lot of fun. Paint schemes have always been a big part of NASCAR, and fun to see. But I'll tell you what, Peter, I'm watching the 99. He is trying to find a way around Nate. That 971 truck seems to have been falling off the pace a little bit. Philip Scott was right on his bumper a lap or two ago. Then he fell back a little ways when Nate got a little bit loose. He had to check up and kind of give him some room there. But as these guys battle, they are letting that number 1 open up a huge gap. Jason Gracias. Oh! Yellow flag on the speedway. I'm going to try and identify exactly what happened there, but maybe the 14 involved with late race caution. Replay up on your screen. Let's ride along with this red number 14. Run the middle groove through the corner, coming out of turn 4. Looks like he's all right, headed into the corner, and just a little bit loose on the bottom. He's going to back it up into that outside wall, and everybody able to get around him. That was heads up thinking by the 14, keeping that thing locked up, making sure it didn't roll down the track. Good drive in there, but going to lose some track position, and I believe by the way that this league does things, even though he didn't really get passed by that many trucks, if you are the cause of caution, you get an EOL. So he will be end of the longest line. And we're going to be going green with just a handful of laps to go. Boy, oh boy, that just made the end of this race real fun, Peter.
Yeah, and speaking of fun, pit lane is fun right now. Everyone taking tires. Jason Gracias looked like only taking 2 tires in the number 1 machine. Could that be the winning call? The rest of the field taking on 4. Nate Maurer going to be the first truck on 4 fresh tires. Tom Lester there in the number 48 going on by our Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award winner. Just went 1 lap down a couple of laps earlier. Maybe only 1 lap earlier, but the number 48 right there on your screen. He's going to come down, get fresh tires. But this is going to be a very interesting situation here, Andre. The Juan Gracias took 2 tires. We know that usually makes you a little bit more loose. But you've mentioned how these trucks are probably pretty tight on entry and through the middle of the corner. Well, that's going to loosen up Jason Gracias. He's going to have to watch out for that. A very different handling truck when you only change 2 of your 4 tires.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these guys are going to have little to no experience driving a truck with only 2 of the tires replaced. So it's going to be kind of learning on the fly here for Gracias. It's kind of an interesting call, but we'll see how he handles it and what these guys can do on this final restart. But we haven't really seen too many bump and runs, Peter. The contact has been kept to a minimum. At least the intentional contact has been kept to a minimum. We've seen a few accidental bumps here and there. You're going to have that on short tracks. But now I'm thinking if you're the leader you got a target on your back bumper. You got to be careful.
Yeah, you will have a target on your back bumper because, yeah, okay, it's a simulator, folks, but I'll tell you what, tempers do flare even on the simulator. I've seen a good a brawl, if you will, in the NSRA here has a channel in the Discord which they use for their conversation. They call it Friday Night Fights. And I've seen some of the drivers get pretty testy with one another over the last season or so, since that became a thing. And, let's stay out of it. I'm just the broadcaster, but I keep my eye on it. There's some, there's some stuff that we can bring up here in the commentary booth every once in a while to add a little bit extra flavor to the 3-Wide TV broadcast. But I think we'll have a little bit more flavor here in just about a lap because space car lights are off. We're getting set to go green flag. 15 laps, and interestingly enough, the number 1 Gracias here has chosen the outside for the restart. That's the first time we've seen that all night because the leader does have lane choice, Andre.
Yeah, that is a really interesting call. We've gone 135 laps, and nobody has chosen the outside yet. And now, right at the end of the race, he makes a very interesting call, but it works out as the 29 gets squirrely behind him. That's going to put Gracias out to a decent lead. Nate is able to avoid disaster as the 29 did not spin out. He was able to get that thing pointed in the right direction. Now he's dropping back some positions here, and that gives us a very familiar top 3. Philip Scott, Nate Maurer, and our leader, Jason Gracias. Single file. Look at that 970. Oh, yellow flag again. Go further back in the field. That is the 29. Looks like the 75 also tagging the wall, trying to avoid the incident. Dial up a replay, see exactly what happened to Adam Newton as he is working his way through the corner. He's really struggling with the handling of that truck from the drop of the green flag. Maybe something to do with the number 30. Did he get some help? No, he did not. He just went around on his own there. Not the first driver to do that. We've seen a few drivers just struggle with the handling of this truck tonight, Peter. It's a tough track.
Yeah, and it just speaks to the fact that we've only got 15 laps to go. He tried to drive that truck into turn number 3 just a little bit deeper than he probably should have. Back in, came out, swung around, and that is all she wrote for the number 29. Tough night for Adam Newton, who had so much pace early on in the show. He's going to be well back in the finishing order unless all chaos breaks loose, and sometimes all chaos does break loose here on 3-Wide TV. We've known that to happen as Garrett Austin there whips on by, picking up one of our Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Awards. Again here, I think that might be his 5th Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award that he's picked up tonight. If not his 5th, it's his 4th. So, number 34, staying in business with that Brookstone Animal Hospital Lucky Dog Award. And of course, I think the reason why is because look at this lucky dog that he has right there. That little pooch that he has in his picture. Cute looking pup. As Garrett Austin gonna get himself back onto the lead lap. Here with 12 laps to go, sometimes that's all you can hope for, to be on the lead lap with 12 laps to go. You're in with a shot. You aren't saying it can't happen, because it still can happen. It might take a miracle. But as long as you're on the lead lap, Andre, you have a shot to go to victory lane.
Oh, absolutely. We have no idea what's going to happen in these closing laps. Obviously, the aggression levels are going up quite a bit. And these drivers know that now is the time to make your move, take the lead, and try to drive away. So with a track this narrow and this short, an accident up front could potentially collect a lot of cars. So even if you're further back in the grid, you got to keep your eyes open, and you got to make sure that should an opportunity to gain some track position present itself, that you're ready to do it. You're ready to step up to the plate and take that position by force. So we'll have to wait and see. But the lights are off. Or nope, they're on. Sorry, the iRacing banner was kind of blocking the pace car, so we're going to go around again. But I think, from the looks of it, Peter, Jason Gracias is going to take the outside again. Worked out last time, so he might be replicating that call.
Yeah, that inside line for Nathan Maurer also had a lot of wheel spins, so I think Jason Gracias timed that last restart absolutely perfectly. He's going to have to do it again here, because it looks like we'll have a 9-lap shootout here at the USA International Speedway, Lakeland, Florida. If I recall, this racetrack actually does not exist in real life anymore. One of the racetracks that unfortunately has met its demise over the last 10 years or so. And if you're in the chat right now, you have a local track near you, please go out and support your local track on the weekends whenever that track is open, because that is the best racing that you can get. Cheap ticket, take the family, and really support your local racetrack. And they will be grateful for it, and hopefully the tracks don't meet their demise like this one has in real life. Pace car is on pit lane. 9-lap shootout. Gracias already on the loud pedal, and that's going to pull the number 30 of Julian Tesoro alongside with Nathan Maurer as we head through turns number 1 and 2.
And the 99 had nowhere to go. He had to check up a little bit. The 17 getting out of the throttle as well. Side-by-side battle continues into 3 and 4. Tesoro driving it a little deep, and we got another yellow flag, Peter, somewhere a little bit further back in the field. We'll try to see what happened.
Yeah, this was deep in the field, hearing that the number 48 and the 34 may have had some contact. Let's see. No, the 48 goes around right in front of the 29, and the 34 just locks them up. Good job by Garrett Austin, actually, to just lock him up, to not pile into that accident. But unfortunately for Tom Lester and the number 29 machine, there was definite contact. Let's go on board with driver of the number 48 machine right here, Tom Lester. We'll see exactly when that truck starts to go around. Just snaps on him right there. And there's that contact with the number 29, Adam Newton, who had just spun around a couple of laps previously. But we're back under caution again. Interestingly enough, under that caution, or on that short green flag run, Julian Tesoro was able to get up into third, get past Philip Scott, who now slides back off of the podium to fourth. So that short little green flag run not proving all too good for the number 99 of Philip Scott. Fifth position, though, is Tristan Maurer, who's been keeping things nice and clean here tonight. Of course, Philip Scott and Tristan Maurer there in fourth and fifth are battling it out for the points lead. Philip Scott came into tonight with a 70-point advantage over Tristan Maurer, as Maher's season has somewhat been turned on its head over the last few races. He was our points leader for a while, has 3 wins to his credit, but Philip Scott's been Mr. Consistency so far this season in the number 99 machine, trying to back that up again here tonight. 11 races for the number 99 this season. Every single one of those has finished inside the top 10. Tristan Maurer and Justin White, who's not here tonight in the number 2 machine, both of those drivers sitting with 7 top 10s apiece. Dan Hausman also 7 top 10s to his credit entering into tonight. But Philip Scott's 11 top 10s, a perfect record, trying to keep that going here, as we now just have 5 laps to go. Pace car lights stay off, so Andre, looks like we're going to have a 3-lap shootout here. We do have several attempts at a green-white checker as well. I believe it's 3 attempts here in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series.
And if the trends of the race continue, we may need a few attempts. These last few restarts have been pretty chaotic. Not a whole lot of attrition tonight. We've had a lot of cautions, but only a few drivers have taken it behind the wall and completely retired. So still dealing with a pretty stacked field full of drivers, and a lot of those guys on the lead lap, Peter. And I think that's what's making this race so chaotic. You pointed it out earlier. If you're on the lead lap, you've got a chance at winning this race. And these guys know that just as well as you and I do. So that is why they're racing so hard and why these restarts have been a little bit more than hectic. But we'll see. Maybe we can get through this one completely green. It's just a matter of waiting and finding out. But either way, if we can't, we got a few attempts at a green-white checker, so no reason to sweat over that. Jason Gracias, for the 3rd time, going to take the outside, it would seem, as the lights go off on the pace car. And again, you kind of pointed out, Peter, there was some wheel spin on that low line, and that may be why he was taking that lane.
Yeah, he's really started to like that outside line for these restarts, has Jason Gracias, so hopefully it continues to work for him. Otherwise, he might be regretting that decision at the end of tonight, but nonetheless, pace car is on pit lane. Gracias goes early. He runs it all the way out to the wall, and here comes Philip Scott trying to go to the outside. Remember, he lost the spot to Julian Tesoro in the last restart. Well, he's going to gain that back, and now he's going to try and go toe-to-toe with the 971 here as they work through turn number 1 and 2, but caution flag waves again, and we will have a Beer Street Journal last call here in the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series. Andre, caution flag again.
Well, I called it. We're going to need a few attempts, but let's see what happened. Take a look at the 3-wide TV replay and try to identify what brought us into this green line checker. 75 up on the high line, the 59 right in front of him. A little bit of 3-wide action maybe as the 77 gets a little bit squirrely and just unfortunately pushes the 59 down into the 75. And I don't think anybody really did anything wrong there, Peter. It was just a lot of drivers going for the same real estate and just a gentle nudge at the wrong place in the wrong time.
Yeah, on board here with Blaine Sparling, one of our participants in the best looking paint scheme for the Patriotic Scheme vote, going around and doing a good job of getting it pointed back in the right direction, but not before he lost a ton of track position. Let's see if we can get another look at that, maybe from a slightly different angle here, just to see how minor that contact was. Just a little nudge, and it looked pretty drastic because that number 59 went around, just kissing the inside wall. Going to be well back in the field, probably not the finish Blaine Sparling would have wanted, but we have to re-rack him, do it all again for a BeerStreetJournal.com last call. If you have not checked out BeerStreetJournal.com yet, well, now's the time to do so, as the key headline story this week is Pabst Blue Ribbon. Now, I think everyone has their thoughts of Pabst Blue Ribbon. If you're a beer drinker, you either think it's cheap and below you or not, but Pabst Blue Ribbon has announced that this year they are releasing a pack of beer with 1,844 cans of Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's a lot of beer, Andre. That is an insane amount of beer. I hope you have some friends to drink that with you.
I remember seeing a post about that, and somebody actually did the math as to how much that cost per can. And I don't remember the exact number, but I think it came out to somewhere around like 8 or 9 cents per can with the price they were asking for it, which is absolutely absurd. Honestly, it's a big purchase in bulk. But if you're a beer guy, I don't know how you could pass that up. I mean, that is one heck of a deal.
I mean, at 8 or 9 cents a can, isn't that guiltless? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That's a question for the chat. But we're going to hopefully see the one-to-go signal this time by. Stay Tuned Sports saying that would last him only a month. I'll tell you what. Do the math on that one, folks, if that would only last him a month.
Well, I don't need to do the math, because if he's drinking that much, he's not going to make it a month.
Yeah, who needs water when you have Pabst Blue Ribbon? I think some people would argue it is just water. But we do indeed get the one-to-go signal from the iRacing.com race officials, and Scott Tompkins, our in-race official here in the National Sim Racing Association. Probably don't mention Scott Tompkins' name enough here on 3YT. He is the race official. We'll be keeping his eyes on this restart for anyone who may fall foul of any of the rules that they have here of lane changing or going too early, stacking up the field or something like that. So we'll be keeping his eye on this very important restart. We're back green flag, and here comes Julian Tesoro, that outside line following the number 1 at Gracias. As Gracias scoots away, he might have the advantage he needs to see this race out. But Julian Tesoro fighting for all he can here in second. And Andre, remember, he had all that damage a little while ago.
Yeah, he didn't think he had the pace in the truck, but he's given it everything he can, fighting on the high side. He's going to drop back a position to this 99, and there's going to be contact. He's going around. Is there going to be a caution? Yes, there is. Big wreck. The number 6, the number 52, no yellow flag yet. They're going to race it back to the line, I think. And Jason Gracias through 1 and 2. The 971 makes a good lunge, but he's not close enough. Gracias will win here at USA.
Gracias gets the dub. Behind him, Nate Maurer, Philip Scott in third. That late race contact, we will have to go back and look at that one. because there was 100% contact. Oh, Tristan Maurer dumping the 99 here on the cooldown lap as Philip Scott gets all tore up. Not sure if that was a little bit of an accident or whether or not that was intentional, but not exactly sure. Jason Gracias doesn't care because he gets to park it in victory lane, and it's right there on the front stretch. I love that. Andre, I wish more tracks would do that with the victory circle right there on the front straight where all can see. And heck, you can even do a burnout. You know?
Yeah, the only other track that I can think of off the top of my head would be Michigan. Pretty neat to have victory lane right there, and makes for some good photo ops too. I'm sure Jason Gracias can park his car down there, grab a few screenshots, and put that in the old team trophy room for the 5th time. Another trophy in the trophy room for that #1 machine. And now look at this, Peter. He's just showing off. Look at that.
He's getting too good at this, but burning it down here on the front stretch for all of those very stoic-looking fans. I'll tell you what, Jason, the fans don't look very excited. They've seen this now 5 times this season, except for that one. He's got his arms up. He's going. He's the one Jason Gracias fan in the chat, or not the chat, but the virtual crowd here tonight at this racetrack. I think people want to go back and see exactly what happened there late in the race on the final lap with Julian Tesoro. We might have to bring out the 3-wide TV blimp cam for this one, Andre. Let's see what happened here going off towards turn #1.
So obviously something transpired between Maurer and Scott as they go into turn 1. Tesoro's turning in pretty steep right here. He's going to make contact with the 99. And the 30 goes spinning around, up and around, into the outside wall. I don't think anything really happened between Maurer and the 99. Maybe Maurer just thought that that was somehow Scott's fault and maybe took some vigilantism into his own hands. But, I mean, you can't really blame Scott for that. Tesoro just came down the track. I mean, it was a racing deal for both of them.
Yeah, 2 drivers battling it out late, and unfortunately Julian Tesoro getting the bad end of that stick for sure. Let's see, though. Let's start off with the number 99 machine. Andre, I believe you've caught up with tonight's 3rd-place finisher. Let's get his opinion on that situation.
Philip Scott, you got a copy? You got a copy, Phil? Philip Scott, under Graham Bush in the 3-wide TV booth. We'll try one more time. You got a copy? All right. Sounds like some technical difficulties there, so I'll hand it off to you there, Peter.
Yeah, let's see if we can now jump over to the driver who calls himself Zero Chance Maurer, Nathan Maurer, in the 971 machine, tonight's runner-up. And it wasn't exactly easy out there here tonight. And Nate, we saw a couple of accidents. We saw caution flags galore, especially late in the race. But coming home in second to the driver who is red hot right now, Jason Gracias, I don't think you're going to be too disappointed with that finish tonight.
Honestly, it's probably one of my most disappointing second-place finishes in here, especially to Jason. I didn't need those cautions there at the end. I can't believe he took 2 tires. Thought about it, but I wouldn't have finished any better if I would have took 2 tires. I just needed that thing to stay green there at the end.
Well, you know, you thought about the fact that earlier in the race, the number 99 of Philip Scott went 80 laps or so on his initial set of tires. Was that surprising for you? I think he fell back to 3rd by the time the caution flag came out around lap number 82, but it didn't seem like tires mattered a whole lot here tonight, at least to my surprise.
Yeah, I don't think they here. I feel like it's so hard to pass here. I mean, I was just riding behind Philip. I told him I was trying to pass him clean. I didn't want to get into him. Then I seen, what's his face called? Jason. By the way, he's not red hot right now. He's been red hot ever since he's joined NSRA. But I seen him come, and I was like, I got to get around him now. So I made my move on Philip, and then Jason was there. And I beat him there on pit road. And then I think it was Jim. He said he was pitting, And then he like slowed down turn 1 and kind of messed up my line. I got loose coming off and just let Jason go around. But no, congrats to Jason. Well-deserved win for him tonight.
Well, I know we will see that 971 machine hopefully next week. It's going to be a wild card next week. We go to Chicago Street Course. First time the Stay Tuned Sports Podcast Truck Series has ever gone to a street course. What's going through your head in that one?
I'm planning my partying up at Pocono next week, and I'm leaving here Thursday night. Going to be up there till Monday. Going to be partying with some other broadcasters on iRacing, so I'm looking forward to that. And I'm not too sad about missing Chicago Street Course because I never touched it before.
Well, it is definitely going to be an interesting one, Nate. That is for sure. It's a shame that you're missing out. But hey, go have a good time. Go party. Go enjoy your time up in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. But hey, before we let you go, any shout-outs you'd like to give out?
I got to give a shout-out to all my teammates here. Shout out to Justin. He didn't happen to be here tonight. He's being a good dad tonight, taking his son out to a baseball game that his son has to go to. Shout out also to Tom on our team here at Simbox the Friday nights. He just got surgery on his right side of his body. He just drove this race 155 laps, all left-handed. Congrats to him on doing that. And still didn't finish last. Shout out to my teammate Doug Neal, my sponsor, Simbox PC, and Adam Newton, too. I know he didn't have the finish tonight that he wanted, but even though I usually finish in front of him every week, he has made me a better driver. So, yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to you guys up there in broadcast booth. Something for my dad to watch every Friday night. And, yeah, everybody that puts on this league.
Absolutely, Nate. Enjoy next week, and we hope to see you again 3 weeks from tonight.
Yeah, you guys have a good weekend.
All right. Yeah, of course, next week we do have the Chicago Street Course. I'm very much looking forward to that. The week after that is an off week, so it'll be 3 weeks tonight till we see Nate Maurer back on the track. But I believe I'm getting word. I've had a message, Andre. Let's try this again. Let's dial up Philip Scott. Let's try him. He says it's working, so let's see if third time's the charm.
Philip Scott, you got a copy?
Yep. Yeah. Discord was being goofy through the race and stuff, so I during the interview during the first caution when Peter tried to pull me up, it just was slow. I didn't hear anything, and all of a sudden I heard I heard in the chat oh, I guess we can't connect to Philip Scott, and then I get booted back. So yeah.
Yeah, sometimes technology's it's fun. Well, Philip, you had a really good run out there tonight. Bringing it home on the podium. You were battling with the leaders all night long, and it was a change of pace for you guys. You guys have had 2 caution-free races in a row, and even before that, going back to Talladega, you had 1 caution there. Tonight, you had a few more yellow flags, had to deal with some restarts, and overall, just some real close racing out there. How did you feel about the race tonight?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I kind of wish I got it done. I felt like I was the fastest car out there because I went the first half of the race without even pitting, and I held on to the lead for quite a while. But yeah, I do kind of wish that track position wasn't such a big thing. It was so hard to keep position while you're restarting and stuff if you're on the wrong lane. Everything like that, but it was a lot of fun. It's definitely a change of pace. I definitely like the long green flag runs. But yeah, and on the last lap, I'm not entirely sure what happened. I almost feel I know he was gonna dive down way into the corner, and I was just trying to follow Nate's line as good as I could. Just because if I went any farther down, then I'd just go straight up anyway. So I just tried my best to turn it as good as I could, but it happens. So sorry to the 30 about that. I don't know who caused it though, but yeah, it was I really want to get a race win in this series. I got one last season, but it's funny how I'm the points leader. I still haven't gotten a win yet. But hopefully we can get done soon.
consistency is key, and if you keep having runs like this, I think the win is almost sure to come. Now, Philip, after the race, there was a little bit of drama, I think, with you and the 17 truck. He kind of spun you after the race had ended there. Was there anything to that, or was that just kind of a friendly little bump?
No, he meant to bump me, and then he accidentally turned me. So yeah.
All right, that's kind of what I was thinking, because when we
Yeah.
went back and looked at the replay, you guys never got together. I'm like, I don't know about that. So
Yeah.
that was funny. But
Yeah.
before we let you go there, Philip, again, congratulations on the podium. Is there any shout outs you'd like to make?
Yeah. Obviously, National Ninja League now, World Ninja League. That's the main one I want to shout out. So go check them out. Biggest Ninja Warrior competition series in the world. So go check them out.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Philip, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And that was Philip Scott out of the booth. And now, Peter, I believe you've caught up with our race winner, Jason Gracias.
Yeah, I'm right down here on the front straight with the driver of the number one machine for the third consecutive race in Victory Lane, fifth win of the season for Jason Gracias. And Jason, last two races, no cautions to worry about. Tonight, quite a few cautions. How did that change your strategy as the race went on tonight?
So, thankfully, the TNR boys gave me a car for the race yesterday. So I got some laps in. I could understand the race pace a little bit. And last night there was a lot more wrecks. Tonight there wasn't as many wrecks. So patience was the game here. You had to really. It was definitely harder to pass today versus yesterday. These trucks are a little choked on power. The gearing at this track was didn't call for shifting into the turns, but you got really bogged down. And coming off the turns, you were just loose because of the transition from 2 to the back straight and 4 to the front straight. So it was very different than last night. So passing was a premium, was all about track position. So as the cautions fell, I was kind of biding my time, trying to figure out if I split this race into thirds and get tires every 50 laps or so, I should be in a good spot. And that's kind of where things were shaking out. That last caution with 25 to go really threw a wrench into its plans, but I came down to pit road and the field followed. So thankfully it worked out to my favor, and I was a 2-tire hero there at the end. I was trying to get the truck loose off, and it definitely was looser, and it just drove way better for me. It's a shame that we didn't get a run to the end with these short tracks. Tempers flare towards the end. Everyone's seeing red, or everyone's seeing black and white, trying to get to the checkered flag. So really was trying on my patience not to mess up and give this race away. So but it seems like with these iRacing updates, the name of the game now, sadly, is track position, because dirty air was a factor here. You could feel it coming off the turns behind these trucks.
Well, you definitely were able to manage it and get to the race lead there late, and that 2-tire strategy call working out for you and the number one machine. But I have my eyes on next week because of the fact that it's a first for the National Sim Racing Association going to the street course at Chicago. It's one of those races on the schedule that I have had circled since the beginning of the season. I cannot wait to see the green flag fall there. Will we see you there? And if so, what are your thoughts about climatizing to a street course?
You will probably not see me race next week. I am not a fan of street courses. Contrary to proper beliefs, I love road course racing. I'm not the best at it. Philip Scott, Tristan Maurer are way better than me. So it's nice to see the TNR boys have speed. But I do not like Chicago street course. And I have plans for next weekend. So I'm not sad that I'm going to miss that race. To me, it seems like passing zones there are at a premium, as they are with many street courses. But hopefully one of these TNR boys can, go coast to coast, quickest on qualifying, quickest on the racetrack, bring home Garrett and the TNR team another victory to add to the trophy case. We're just trophy hunting here in 2022.
Well, Jason, if we don't see you on the racetrack next week, hopefully you will be in the chat at the very least. But go enjoy your win here tonight, and hope to see you out there on the racetrack soon.
Yeah, thank you. Just really quick, just a couple shout outs. Thanks to Stan Houseman and Beer Street Journal for all he did the last 2 weeks with the Star Spangled Bash. It's a really cool prize pool and gets the camaraderie up in the league. A lot of cool paint schemes out there. Sadly, I didn't see a lot of Stars and Stripes cars out there on the track. Maybe the 59, 99, and the 39. So if you guys want to vote in the chat. My vote for this week would be Stan Houseman. He really repped America there. Thanks to NSRA for the platform. Stay Tuned Sports for being the presenting sponsor. Brookstone Animal Hospital. We had lots of lucky dogs tonight, so lots of airtime for them. Taz Racing Customs, Eclipse Photography, Simbox, JNR Craftworks, 3YTV for the broadcast. Bagcraftcornhole.com for being on the truck this week. I didn't have a patriotic scheme, but I did have red camo, so maybe that counts as being somewhat patriotic. I'll let the chat decide on that one. And last but not least, thanks to MaxGrafix for Starling for all he does for me with the good fire paint schemes he gives me. Next week, or the week after, hopefully if I'm racing, I will have a new car to race, so hopefully I can keep the streak going.
Well, we will see. If we don't see you next week, we'll see you hopefully in 3 weeks' time, Jason. Congrats on the win here tonight. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
All right, well, that's going to do it with our post-race interviews here on 3 Wide TV. We'll let Jason Gracias go celebrate his win. Let's bring up the final race results here, Andre. Why don't you take it away with the Beer Street Journal Star Spangled Bash Race 2 final race results.
Absolutely. Race winner, of course, it's going to be Jason Gracias, 3 in a row, 5 on the season. What a year it has been for Gracias. Nate Maurer in the 971 brings it home P2. Philip Scott is going to be third with, to him, I feel like he was a little bit disappointed, but man, the consistency he's had this season, it's been phenomenal. And just really, really awesome to see. Tristan Maher, P4. Stan Houseman with an impressive top 5 in that patriotic number 39. Doug Neal, P6. After quite a bit of attrition, we saw that 77 involved in a number of scuffles, so to speak, and he brought it back inside the top 10. Great recovery. Joshua Sobel, also involved in a few incidents, brings it home in the top 10. They're in 7th. Dominic Tesoro is going to finish P8. Vinny Valvano drove a little way through the field after qualifying back in, I believe, 14th or 15th. He's bringing it up to 9th. David Buell is going to be the last driver inside the top 10. Garrett Gleason, 11th. Jeff Price, 12th. Adam Newton, P13. Doug Milliner in the 6th truck brings it home 14th. Julian Tesoro, after that late race incident there with the 99, brings it home P15. Blaine Sparling, 16th. Garrett Austin, 17th. Tom Lester is going to be 18th. And once the graphic scrolls just a little bit further, we will round out our field. It is going to be Jim Casterline in 19th and Matt Cherry in 20th, rounding out the field. So there is the final running order for the Beer Street Journal Star Spangled Bash. And Peter, what a race that was. A definite change of pace. A few more cautions than we're used to, but it definitely made it exciting.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of a wild one there at the end, but Jason Gracias is able to keep his head nice and cool and take home yet another win. As we went through the finishing results, in regards to the starting results of those drivers, one driver, I take that back, 3 drivers gained 10 positions from where they started to where they finished. Dominic Tesoro, David Buell, and Garrett Gleason all picked up 10 spots from the drop of the green flag. Dominic Tesoro, though, finishing the highest of those, picks up tonight's Simbox PC's Biggest Mover of the Race award. That's the extra bonus for Dominic Tesoro, as well as the extra cash. That's right, Dominic Tesoro in the number 69 machine wins the Beer Street Journal Star Spangled Bash extra cash for having the best paint scheme as voted by you, the fans in the chat here tonight, receiving just over 50% of the vote. Just under 50% of the vote. 48% of the votes going to the number 69. 40% of the votes going to the number 99 of Philip Scott. So congratulations to the Tesoros who sweep the Beer Street Journal patriotic schemes as part of the good old Star Spangled Bash. And if you have not checked out BeerStreetJournal.com, make sure you do so. Of course, we had a couple of Beer Street Journal last calls here tonight. Don't often get those here in the Stay Tuned Sports podcast, but big shout out to them. As well as the other series sponsors, Stay Tuned Sports, link to their Podbean in the description if you want to listen to them. MaxGrafix.co, BrookstoneVet.com of the Brookstone Animal Hospital, Facebook.com/Taz Racing Customs for custom diecasts, Facebook.com/Simbox PCs for custom button boxes, and of course JNR Craftworks for custom items. I think there's a lot of customizability in the sponsors here in the National Sim Racing Association as they all add a little bit more to the table. Folks, next week at 8:55 Eastern Time on Friday, July 22nd, we will be going to the Chicago Street Course. I am very much looking forward to the Chicago Street Course. It is definitely an unknown, and hopefully we get a huge turnout for that one because seeing all the trucks battle it out on the street course is going to be very, very exciting, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to it. Andre, I don't know what really to expect there, except the drivers are going to have to race the racetrack.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a spectator race. I think we as spectators are going to have a lot more fun than the drivers trying to navigate that track. Like you said, it's a huge unknown. It's not a layout we're familiar with. And street courses in general are just one of the more difficult forms of road racing. The tracks are so narrow. The corners tend to be so angular and so tight. And these trucks were not designed for that kind of track. So they're really going to be fighting the elements, fighting the truck itself and the track, like you said. And if we get a good turnout, it is almost guaranteed to be a fun race to watch. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'll be right here on 3 Wide TV right alongside you to broadcast it.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that one. Folks, until then, though, make sure you stay safe and all that good stuff, and we shall see ya!